Hi, I'm Ryan Wright.
And I'm Jerry.
Welcome to Reasons to See.
Where we give you reasons to see.
And not to see.
Identity thief.
So let's hang out. Ryan's consensus. There are no reasons to watch Identity Thief. There are no reasons to watch Identity Thief. The director of Horrible Bosses made a horrible movie. Get it?
I fucking hate that dude. Stop. Jerry's consensus. I'm gonna have to say that Identity Thief is the reason movies. I'm just kidding with you. It's there aren't any reasons to see this movie. There are no reasons to see Identity Thief. Throughout most of the film, I was just kind of sitting there going, who let this happen?
Reason to see number one. There aren't any. There aren't any.
Reasons not to see. Annoying characters.
There's a comedy out there that is annoying. This is the definition of annoying by far.
Well, it's tedious. You start out with Jason Bateman, and you're just watching a nice guy have a crappy day.
Yeah.
Then he crashes into Melissa McCarthy, who is an asshole. And then he becomes an asshole too. And then everyone is an asshole.
Yes.
So it's just a bunch of assholes until the third act where the movie's like, oh crap, we have to have some heart.
Yeah. I know this guy's barely in it, but even John Cho, now that I look back on it, what an asshole that guy was. It's like, you just recruited this guy from your heart, and now you're like, hey man, fuck the whole Identity Thief problem you got going on.
Yeah, well, there were two pleasant characters in this movie. One is Big Charlie, who's weird, but he's at least not a bad guy. And two is the hotel clerk, who calls Jason Bateman on being an asshole.
The weird thing about it though is the actors seem committed to the performances. They are committed to the performances, actually. I guess the material just makes them so annoying.
Maybe that's why it's that annoying, is because the actors are believable, so you just kind of want to punch everybody.
It doesn't seem like Jason Bateman and Melissa McCarthy just showed up on set. Like, there are some honorable mention moments, I guess.
There are some moments that are good. When it does finally ram a heart down your throat at the end, there are some moments where you're like, aww, if this would have been great in a movie where this made sense.
I think that, Jason Bateman and Melissa McCarthy, the word is palpable. They have palpable chemistry. It's weird to see that. Like, they actually have a good back and forth going on. But it's so annoying to watch. Yeah, the thing about Melissa McCarthy's character is she's not one of those characters in the movie who, like, oh, she's annoying to everyone else, but the audience thinks she's so funny, yay. No, she does such a good job at this character that she too is annoying you so much when you're watching the film. Well, and then Jason Bateman's asshole material makes him so much more annoying.
Well, and it's a weird push-pull because you get why he's being an asshole, and you can identify with why he's being an asshole, but for some reason it's like, after a while, it's like, dude,
quit being an asshole!
Chill out! And the other thing is that they get into all these situations where if he would just go, I'm transporting her to Colorado, she stole my identity. Like, a half hour's worth of bullshit would have been saved by that. And then it's like, they get all these really good people to show up for cameos, and it's like, why are you in this movie?
And why are you not taking advantage of their cameos, man? Like, they say if John Favreau billed as like, what, like third or fourth film? I'm like, you're one scene that's a really short scene,
And his picture comes back later, though. They do have a photograph.
Yeah, I feel like they cut out like a lot of his scenes or something,
There were times where it felt like stuff was cut.
Reason not to see number two. It's not funny.
It's astonishing. People were like, dude, Identity Thief is like, I was prepared for an awful movie, and nothing's ever as bad as people say it is. I have never been in a comedy where I didn't laugh, and I didn't laugh.
I laughed I could count the amount of times I've laughed. That's how few times I actually laughed. It's on one hand.
I chuckled like 4 or 5 times.
I never cracked up once,
Yeah, I never laughed. I chuckled like 4 or 5 times, and all like supporting characters for like random throwaway lines. Like, it was little things, but it's kind of like your awkward friend at your party who's like got all the energy, so it's awkward because like he keeps telling a joke, and then the jokes not hitting, and then you're like, I should have laughed there, that's where they want me to laugh, but it's not funny. Half the jokes are, she's fat, he has a girl's name. Everybody in this movie does their thing for 2 hours.
It's mean-spirited, but it's not fun at all. Like, it's a mean-spirited comedy, and I wouldn't call it, like, offensive, but...
No, I mean,
at the same time, even the cops are assholes. Like, everyone's an asshole. That's like the world they provide you with. It's just a bunch of assholes who you believe to be assholes, and so it makes it not funny, and then they have, like, uncalled for serious moments that start occurring close to the finale where you're like, there should be more comedy at this point. Why is this so serious?
Well, and they seem to be doing what I was afraid they would do, which is like they're giving Melissa McCarthy like the exact same career that Zach Galifianakis had coming out of The Hangover.
Yeah, it's like Due Date all over again.
Yeah, exactly. Reason not to see number 3. Bad writing and directing.
Talking about it is draining me.
It's tedious.
Because it is a draining experience to sit through. You know, like everything about it seemed to be sort of a rip-off of other comedies. It seemed like it was trying to be like Midnight Run, but it doesn't even do a good job of ripping them off, you know? I'm all for familiar premise or whatever like that, but at the same time, they could have taken way more advantage with the premise they had instead of turning into they got this great setup. I thought it was a smart setup, you know? It's the financial world this guy deals with. You know, he's one of the smartest guys in the world, but yet they set him up at the beginning like he's a fucking idiot. So the premise had promise, but then it just turns into some stupid road trip comedy out of nowhere.
Well, yeah, it's like they spend all this time setting up, like I said, it's a nice guy having a shitty day that just keeps getting shittier, and that stuff isn't all that funny, but at least for the first 20 minutes or so, like, it works, like, you're with it. And then when it turns into a comedy, it's all downhill. Like,
it's shocking that this is from the same guy who directed Horrible Bosses.
And a bunch of other, like, he's done like documentaries, and he's done a few other movies that are all like reasonably good and interesting. It's like, you don't expect, you know, realism out of a movie like this, but you gotta be able to believe its world, and it's not, like, nothing is believable because everything is, it's like every scene follows a different set of rules, and then when it all comes together, like, everything is so convenient at the end that it undoes, like, anything that could have worked. Like,
and not to mention too, this is the longest comedy ever made. It is so long. You know, I'm not talking lengthwise. It feels an hour longer than when you hear the length, you're like, no fucking way. You gotta be kidding me. That movie's much longer.
It's under 2 hours and it feels like 2.5.
It really does though. It's the never-ending movie. You're watching it going, I'm so annoyed. When is this movie gonna end? I never walk out of movies. I never walk out. I was this close to suggesting to my friend that we're gonna walk the fuck out of here. As I asked her, like, I asked like an hour in, are you really annoyed at this movie? And she admitted that she was also annoyed too. It's a very annoying film.
See, I can't blame you for wanting to walk out.
It lasts, man, forever.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's like, I wasn't gonna walk out, but I was just kind of sitting there the whole time, going further and further into just like, how did this happen? Like, how do all these things go wrong? Like, who wrote this script? Like, what is,
What's so funny too is when I watched this movie, when the screenwriter's name came up, there were clearly 3 rows of people behind me that were like, yay! Yeah. And I was like, have you guys read the reviews for this movie so far?
You don't have to read the review. Have you seen this movie that we all just saw together?
Yeah, like, dude, no, this is a pretty awful fucking film.
It's a bummer. I can't recommend it to you.
It has no idea how to take advantage of its cast, has no idea how to take advantage of its premise, its character setup, a lot of things that it has well set up. It has no idea how to take it to the extent that it deserves.
Yeah, it's just like, what happened?
Subscribe, and tell us your reasons to see or not to see Identity Thief. Please tell us if there are reasons to see Identity Thief.
Yeah.
I will gladly battle you on the internet and talk to you about why your reasons I don't agree. Actually, you might be surprised. I'm a very open-minded guy. You might open my mind to Identity Thief.
You could. Next week, Ryan Wright could be like, this is the best movie of the year.
Now subscribe.